Now that we put the clarinet together, we have to learn the right way to take it apart and clean it so that we can do this safely and quickly every single time. The first thing we're going to do is take the reed off, because the reed is that most important part of the instrument. So just like when we put it together, place your thumb on the bottom of the reed, loosen the ligature, and carefully pull the ligature up while holding the reed in place. Careful not to jam the ligature into the tip of the reed as you take it off. The ligature can go back in your case, and we can carefully take the reed off, holding it by the thick end, the bottom. With the reed off, take the reed guard out of your case, that little mini case just for one reed. There's an open end and a closed end. We're going to put the thin end of the reed in to the open end of this reed guard. Now when I do this, I'm going to move really slow and carefully so that I don't chip the tip of that reed. We're going to put it in just enough so that the tip is covered. You can push it in too far and it'll get stuck in there and it'll be no good anymore. So make sure it only goes in far enough that it's protected. Then that can go back into your clarinet case. The next step is to take the mouthpiece off. Just like when we put it together, carefully twist it back and forth until it comes out, and that's going to go back in your case the same way it was. At this point, we need to clean out the inside of the clarinet. As you play, moisture builds up on the inside of the instrument, and if we don't swab out that moisture and make it nice and dry every single time, it turns into bacteria, and that bacteria keeps growing and growing, and it makes you sick, and it's bad stuff. We don't want any of that. So look inside your case for a swab. This swab is just a piece of fabric meant to absorb moisture connected to a long string, and at the end of the string is a piece of metal to give it some weight. With your swab in one hand and your clarinet in another, carefully turn the clarinet upside down so the bell is up to the ceiling, and we're going to take the piece of metal, the weighted piece of the swab, and just drop it down into the bell. Let it go all the way down as far as you can until just the swab part is sticking out. By then, you should see the piece of metal hanging out of the bottom. Carefully and slowly pull that through the entire instrument. If it gets stuck, do not try to pull it harder. It will keep getting worse. Just bring it to your school, bring it to your band director, and he or she will be able to take care of that for you. Pull that swab out all the way, and then you're set. The swab can get rolled up and go back inside your case. Just remember, it's really important to clean out the inside of that every single time you're done playing. Once you get used to it, it'll go by so quick you won't even think about it. Now we're going to continue taking the clarinet apart the opposite of how we put it together. So we're going to start with the barrel, carefully twist it apart back and forth until it comes out, and that goes back in your case exactly where it was. Next, we're going to go to the bottom and take the bell off. Carefully twist it back and forth until the bell comes off, and that goes back in your case. Now, those keys that we pushed down in the top joint when we put it together, we need to also push them down when we take it apart. Don't forget, there's a piece of metal that sticks up and rests down from the top of the instrument to the bottom of the instrument. We want to keep it up so they don't rub against each other and get stuck and jam. Push down those keys in the top joint of the instrument, grab the bottom and carefully twist them apart until it's two different pieces again. When you go to put them back in your case, make sure they go to the right spot of your case or the case won't close all the way. With everything now sitting in your case, make sure that it all fits and it all looks like it did when you first opened it. If anything is in the wrong spot or it's turned the wrong way or it's turned around, then the case won't close all the way. So carefully take the top part of the case and just let it sit down. If it touches all the way down to the bottom part of the case, then you know you're all set. But if it's sticking up a little bit on its own, then something's wrong. You should never have to push it down If you push it down, it's going to squeeze parts of that clarinet and it's going to bend and break them. So go back. If it doesn't close all the way, double check, make sure everything is in the right spot, and then try it again. Just let it sit there. Make sure it touches both sides of the case, and if it does, then you're free to latch it back up and you're done.